What is up, guys? My name is RJ. This is the Secret Stacks, and the Hugo Awards are this weekend, which normally would get me really excited, except for the fact that the puppies are back and they've pissed all over the carpet. Now, if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, the Hugo Awards are science fiction and fantasy's really preeminent book award, and they have a lot of categories from best novel to shorts, all the way down the list. And this is the one award, forget the Pulitzer, forget everything else, this is the one award that I've always paid a lot of attention to because some of my favorite books of all time have won Hugos. It's really just been a treasure trove of great finds and great reads for me, but unfortunately that's all come to an end. In 2013, a group of writers came together complaining about the fact that science fiction and fantasy was getting away from its swashbuckling roots and was too focused on diversity and really challenging morally and complex topics when they just wanted to get back to space operas and basically white guys having fun in space. Which is really absurd when you think about it, because science fiction in particular is the medium of exploring complex and groundbreaking topics, and to say that there's too much diversity in science fiction is the most absurd thing I think I've ever heard. These group of writers adopted the moniker the Sad Puppies, and they came and they suggested voting for certain works that more fit in with what they believed were worthy based on being fun and great reads and staying away from what they viewed as the politicizing works, which in particular were leftward leaning that they really wanted to avoid. Now, this group created waves, but it was nothing like the absolute atomic bomb that the spiritual successor to the Sad Puppies, the Rabid Puppies, became. Founded by author and publisher under the pseudonym Vox Day, which literally is the rough translation of voice of God, which, yeah, this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. And I will leave a link if you want to look this guy up down below, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it. Just be warned that a lot of what you're going to see is really shock politics from the really far right. He doesn't classify himself as a conservative, but this is a guy who, just to give you a taste, is against women's suffrage, against racial equality. It's almost absurd in the persona that he's putting out. He is a shock value type of persona, and this is exactly what he's done to the Hugo Awards. His mission is to get what he claims are social justice warriors out of science fiction and fantasy. And what he did much more effectively than any other group in the past is he put out a block of suggestion nominations which said anyone who agreed with him, nominate these books and only these books. And what ended up happening is these books, because of the targeted and very focused nominations, they flooded a lot of the categories of the Hugo Awards, making it such that there were some categories which there weren't any other works involved. Now, writers fighting back, they ended up awarding no award. That's actually an option, no award, instead of rewarding this type of block behavior from the Rabid Puppies. So the Rabid Puppies didn't win anything, but Vox Day claimed victory, saying this just goes to show how much the quote-unquote social justice warriors have corrupted and really overwhelmed the Hugo Awards. A really impressive collection of authors came together to say this is just absurd bullshit. And a couple of the more notable ones, George R. R. Martin created his own awards, the Alfies, which in addition to he always holds a Hugo Award losers party afterwards where losers are celebrated and the winners are mocked. But he actually added on an award which, getting the data of what would have happened if the block Rabid Puppies votes never happened, what the awards actually would have been in an uncorrupted environment. In addition to that, various authors who were swept up against their will into the Rabid Puppies nominating block actually refused their nominations out of principle. And in fact, one of those authors surrendered his spot, therefore letting in the last nomination let in because of his recusal was the book that actually won the Hugo Award for the best novel, which was called The Three-Body Problem, which was a translation from a Chinese originally written work, which is exactly what Vox Day is trying to push against. Now that was last year, and the Rabid Puppies are back for their vengeance this year, and they've got a couple different strategies. In addition to nominating his own books, because this is about him and really the brand of Vox Day, even more than any of these other authors, he's done a couple interesting, almost poison pill nominating tactics. So first of all, he's nominated books that are essentially shields, in that he's telling people to vote for books by Neil Gaiman and Stephen King, authors that are so big and really removed from the internal politics of writing, that is essentially, if voters go ahead and vote no reward, then he's going to say, look, it's gotten out of control. See, even these most deserving nominees don't get the awards. But that's the thing, is that the Stephen Kings and the Neil Gaimans haven't been winning many of the best novel awards and things like that. When they're deserving, they do. But the Hugos has always been great at finding sort of more niche and more groundbreaking works, and that's what they were getting more and more of, and that's what Vox Day is trying to kick out. Now, in addition to the shields, there are also the poison pills, works that Vox Day just considers so absurd that just the fact that they're being considered as nominees is an invalidation of the entire Hugo Awards process. One of those is, and literally this is the name of the book, Space Raptor Butt Invasion. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Space Raptor Butt Invasion. It is an erotica title by Chuck Tingle, which sounds disturbingly similar to Kris Kringle, but let's just forget that. And this has been swept in there as to say, look, I mean, this just goes to show you that Vox Day isn't looking to make some philosophical statement. He's trying to create chaos for his own brand's sake. I mean, it's really a reflection of what's going on in the greater political environment today, and the similarities are impossible to ignore, both in the racist and sexist undertones, and also the execution and the targeting. I mean, essentially what we're getting is a group of white male authors who are frustrated that their genre is evolving, which is an absurd complaint in any context, but especially when you consider we're talking about science fiction. Literally, science fiction authors pushing back against evolution, which seems like the most insane thing I've ever said. And I've literally, the fact that I've said Space Raptor Butt Invasion in this video shows just how absurd that is. And now the question is, are the Hugo Awards beyond saving? Because this wasn't just a one-time blip. This is 4 years of the Puppy Wars, 2 years of the Rabid Puppy Wars, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. It's only getting more insidious. I mean, there's an inherent problem with the voting process here. It's possible the Hugo Awards will have to become less democratic to change that. I mean, they've always had a problem with voting blocks. Past presidents have had recommended reading lists, which to me seems like a big conflict of interest. And things like the fact that Tor Publishing has won the Best Publisher Award for 26 years in a row, which Tor Publishing is great, but it shows that there are different power blocks that were there before the puppy movements, and they've just been swept up by bigger, more powerful, more organized force. So what can you do as a reader? Well, the one thing is continue to search out and find diverse books and diverse voices, and particularly own voices, because that's something that the Hugo Awards have done a much better job of identifying. And if they aren't serving as that recommendation method now, we have to do a better job as booktubers or reviewers or just readers in searching those out and recommending them to other people if the Hugo Awards aren't going to. In addition to that, you can become a Hugo nominee and a Hugo voter. Like I said, it's a $40 membership fee, and it also gets you a couple other perks. But if that's something you want to do, you can get inside and try to change it from there. Finally, there are other awards out there, even if they don't have the pedigree and my personal attachment like I have to the Hugo Awards. There are things like the BookTube SFF Awards, which I definitely would recommend you check out. I'll leave links both up top and down below. But in any sort of award, there's going to be a sampling bias in just terms of how they're getting their nominations, where they're getting them from, who they're getting them from. And there will always, no matter what the award is, there will always be a bias. So I think it just is really important for us to both understand and examine those so that we know what kind of recommendations we're getting, so that we can both better evaluate them and also make more informed recommendations for other people. So that's all I've got. If you guys have any thoughts about the puppies or the Hugo Awards or any ideas on how to fix it, let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, see ya.